What's going on, guys? Counting Gains back here again with a legendary comedian in America, man. Bill Burr versus Bill Maher, who's like a host. I think he's a host of some big, newscast radio or news station in America. He has his own kind of TV show like Conan O'Brien or Jay Leno, one of those greats. So Bill Maher is one of the biggest in the US as well. This one's called Roasting and Pushing Each Other for 10 Minutes. I didn't know they actually had a podcast together. This was quite recent as well, 3 months ago. So should be absolutely hilarious. Bill Burr and Bill Maher have obviously kind of somewhat different opinions on certain things, so this one should be incredible. Make sure to hit my subscribe button. Also, go check out my Patreon for lots of exclusive content if you guys want to see more. I love you all, man, and let's get it.
The judge was actually mad for them wasting their time.
But you realize that sports in general does not matter. It's not important, and it's a giant waste of time. I watch it also.
That's why I watch it. It's not why I originally watched it, but now I watch it. I tried to watch the news.
Right.
I tried to be the guy that knew stuff, and it just fucking
didn't work.
Well, because there's no solutions. It's just they just present one horrible thing after another.
That's not
very true.
Not true either.
And then you just watch people go after the tail, never the head.
That's very true. I watched the news, like I said in the last video, for the first time in probably 10 years. At the last day, every single news segment, there was 5 news segments. Every single news segment was horrific death, murder, brutality. I wanted to jump off the bridge after. And I'm the most happy-go-lucky guy. I never get depressed or anything. And after watching the news, guys, it was like, Jesus, man, let me go jump off the freaking bridge. The shit was so depressing, guys. Don't watch the news. The shit's crazy.
It's ridiculous. There are many, many people in this world who are better off because boring people locked in rooms eating cold pizza at 2 a.m. with stale coffee worked on
drivers?
Worked on problems so that lives could be made better, and they were.
That was one of the most vaguest, longest sentences I've ever heard in my life.
Well, if you wouldn't interrupt me so much, I could finish.
What are you talking about? I listened to the whole sentence.
The whole sentence. That's right. Everything is done in one sentence. Okay, just let me put some specifics there.
Okay, there's guys in rooms with cold pizza working long and hard.
Exactly.
Okay.
For example...
He literally said nothing there. I don't understand. Bill Maher said nothing.
Senior poverty used to be 27%, and then people worked very hard to pass Social Security, and now it's under 10%. Child poverty, we just saw an incredible drop in that.
How do you know it's under 10%?
Because they have government agencies who work on that. Are you suspicious that those stats aren't right?
Well, I do remember that once you were unemployed, after a certain amount of time, they just considered you not looking for a job, and they took you off of it.
Okay, but
that's very true, guys. A lot of people don't understand that. When you're unemployed for so long, they just take you off the list of unemployed. They just say that you're not working, and then increases the stats of people who are working. So don't trust those statistics. That's a fact. Bill Burr is really good, actually.
We're talking about senior citizens. We're talking about senior citizens.
What the bankers did in 2008 ended up with me in 2012 when my roof collapsed from water. I had water damage.
I can't have a serious political discussion with the guy at the end of the bar who just anecdotally throws something like that out that has nothing to do with the reality.
Finish.
What?
Now who's not letting somebody finish?
Okay, finish.
All right, so I have insurance. It's my insurance. I pay for it. All right? So when the check comes out for my water damage on my roof, it's made out to me and my mortgage company, and I have to sign it over to them because of what they did in 2008, because they fucked people so bad in houses.
Yes.
And so many people were so upside down in houses that they were like, what's the point of fixing the roof? And then they would keep it, and then they would default on the loan, and then they get the houses back. So they did what they did, and then they made me pay for it. And I had to do it really slowly, and they came over like I was a child, checking out, did you do the work, and blah, blah. Now we'll release some more money. And I could have paid for the whole fucking thing and just been done with it, and I had to sit there and be treated by a bunch of fucking crooks.
Okay, I'm not... I can't even really... First of all, I don't contest any of that. 2000...
What's there to contest? I mean, he's telling you an anecdotal story, but, it's very true, guys. The 2008 crash at the markets was actually worse than the Great Depression in America. In the Great Depression in America, they were eating grass, guys. So we're talking about 2008 being worse Then the Great Depression. Come on, guys. What are we talking about here?
2008, and the meltdown was just horrendous on so many levels. And I'm very sorry about your roof, but I just can't engage on this level of we're talking about your roof.
They're not sorry about my roof.
It's so because that's anecdotal. Because you're trying to extrapolate from your roof to making a statement about America in general and how we solve problems. And of course, your roof is your roof, and that,
so that's
and that
silly
matters.
To do that.
It is silly.
Well, a few minutes ago, you said I was a lot smarter than I let on, and now you're talking down to me, saying, "Oh, you're fucking roof," and I'm some guy at the end of the bar. Who am I, Bill? I am who you need me to be, depending on what your fucking argument is.
I would say you have potential to be.
I would still go see Bill Maher at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden.
Are you throwing me out?
I'm not throwing you out.
I thought you were wrapping it up.
I was trying to break the tension.
Okay, I thought you were like going, I've had enough of this guy.
Dude,
no, I think what I'm saying is
all I do is argue.
You have the potential. The potential.
Oh, gee, thanks, Coach. I'll try a little harder.
Dude, he's like so condescending. Bill Maher is the worst, guys. I don't know, man. I don't really know too much about his politics, or I don't care. I'm apolitical. I don't care about that stuff. But dude, Bill Maher is the worst, bro.
I read. I'll become your little fucking protege.
Start with one, and then see if you like it. But
he doesn't think I read.
I do think you read.
What do you think I read?
I think you read Ted Williams' biography.
Guilty. Guilty. But occasionally I do read other shit.
Do they have his head somewhere?
It's upside down. The nose is missing, and it's sitting on a can of tuna.
What does that mean?
Well, there's these flim-flam guys that came up with this idea that after you die, they could make you undead if they just froze you, right? And then some people,
but they really did it with him?
Some people couldn't afford to have the whole body frozen.
I see.
So then they would just, we can just do the head, and then we'll grow a body.
But why him?
Because talent skips a generation, and his son couldn't hit a ball, and he needed to make money. I don't know why it happened. So he's evidently upside down.
Well,
and his head tipped over.
So he kind of is a splendid splinter now.
He is. He's a fucking mess. But he's not there anymore. That's just his vessel. Can you imagine what you believe in the afterlife.
Can you imagine?
That's just his vessel.
I do not. But can you imagine what his stats would be if he hadn't had those 2 stints in the armed services?
Yeah.
He went both in World War II and then again in Korea. If he had played those years, what?
No, I'm just like the guy that goes back to another war. I mean, I can't if that means you're like the biggest hero ever, or you're just a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Like you just can't get enough of it.
No, I think
once I did a war, I'd be like, all right, I'm good.
Well, of course, that's
like
what you.
Pilot season.
No one wants to go back to a war, but people had a sense of responsibility.
I know they did. They were the greatest generation. Then they created you people, the boomers.
Oh, right. We're so different from you with our decade difference.
You are. You're still defending the Beatles.
Defending the Beatles? Like the Beatles need defense?
That's the name of this podcast. Bill Maher defends the Beatles.
Why do the Beatles need defending?
They don't.
Okay.
They actually, can I tell you something? They do. They do, because the generation behind me, there's a number of guys, like when I was in my 40s, if they were like in their 30s, they would say the Beatles are overrated. I almost exploded. I was like, you could.
Beatles aren't great, right? We don't like the Beatles in this. We don't like the Beatles in this podcast.
Exploded. I was like, you could not find any musician of any merit anywhere in the world to back that fucking statement. And then they would be like, Yellow Submarine.
Oh yeah,
Maxwell Silverhammer. They go for soft targets.
And also, I've said this many times. The Beatles could put out an album called "The Worst of the Beatles," and it would still go to #1. But
how about the fact they were a boy band? They started their own label. Dude, they should have been over in 2 summers.
Well,
they figured out a way around it.
Well, because they kept putting out better and better amazing music.
I know.
But mixed in with that is some shit. And by the way, their lyrics, they definitely could write some good lyrics. They also wrote a lot of gobbledygook. And they wrote a lot of stuff that's just embarrassing doggerel.
Just side point, I've never listened to the Beatles ever in my life. I will do reactions to the Beatles. I don't even know what the Beatles are, guys. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. I saw them walking on pavement on like a zebra crossing. I don't really Yeah.
Like, the sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so is you. That's not a great lyric. It's
Pretty
just
terrible.
not.
Well, if you're commercial fishing for $1, that's fucking right on the money. I like that. That makes me feel good.
Commercial fishing. That's good. See? Look at you.
Yeah,
So smart.
I watch Deadliest Catch.
What's that?
It's a crab show.
Crab show.
There's these people
Not
that sit in
crab.
rooms alone on boats all by themselves,
Yeah,
and they
they go,
risk their lives to go get king crab for you.
How old are your kids?
5 and 2. This is
5 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh, you got young kids.
Yeah, I'm an old dad. I had a lot of shit to work out, Bill. I had a lot of books to not read before my kids got here.
Do you like them?
I love them.
Oh, good.
Yeah. No, I love my kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a silly,
no, but there's
it's a silly question.
that's a no.
No.
That is actually a very fair question.
Oh, good.
It is.
No, really. I'm glad. I did
It
something
is.
good.
No, I wasn't. Are you
No, I
gonna be all
know.
like sensitive after this?
I'm not
We're not going to hug in the parking lot.
We're going to blow each other in the parking lot. Are you kidding? We're so past hugging.
No, there's people that just have kids because they think that's what you're supposed to do. And I have to tell you something. When you go down to the playground,
Yeah.
and you see those kids and they need that love and they're not getting it, it's one of the most heartbreaking things ever. And then you start seeing their kids behaving in a bad way towards your kids, and you're seeing the beginnings of an asshole adult, and
Right.
and you want to intervene,
I feel
but
like
you can't.
what I see from the outside, and again, this is just from the outside because I hate kids, but
I love what you say.
kids either get way too much love. They're too overprotected by helicopter parents and bulldozer parents and parents who are way too in their lives, or what you're talking about here. They don't get enough. There's no happy medium.
And I would say that maybe you're doing what I did with my roof when it comes to kids.
Well, again, I preface that by saying I'm saying this from the outside. I don't have kids, but I
love that you say you hate kids, though.
I do.
There's a lot of people
never
that
liked
won't
kids.
admit
Even
that.
when I was a kid, I didn't like kids. and it's the one thing
I
in
have to be
my
honest
it
with you.
has not changed at all in my life.
I think parents make people without kids hate kids because they won't quit gassing their kids up to you. You know, look at that. He just went over there.
Right.
And he just picked up his dirty shirt and put it in a hamper. He
Exactly.
is so smart. It's just
But
like,
they're so overprotected. I mean, I was
you want to be like, both of you are morons.
Like,
two negatives doesn't make a positive. Like, two dummies can't make an
we
Albert
just
That's too funny. All right, guys. Bill Burr versus Bill Maher. Who do we think won there? Obviously, roasting each other, guys. That's absolutely legendary. Hope you guys all enjoyed that, man. Leave in the comments down below more things to react to by Bill Burr. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.